Hey everybody, it's Portable Bobby here. This is the way I see it. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of topics, but something caught my eye today and I thought y'all would like to hear about this. UBI law that is being tossed around in Chicago and other cities in California and across the nation. And in case you don't know what the UBI law is, it's a universal base income. It's a law that they're tossing around and they're putting in trials. In Chicago, for instance, they're taking 1,000 people and they're going to start giving them this universal base income of $500 a month and see through a study of how it affects the lives of those people. And I guess if it shows there's good things happening with that $500, and you know that, and it's an individual thing. That's something else I wanted to say. So if you are married, you'll have $1,000. You know, so that's how it works. Everybody gets $500 individually. Doesn't matter about household or any of that stuff. It doesn't matter about income or lack of income. It doesn't matter if you're willing to work or unwilling to work. That's not even brought into question. It would be an unconditional basic income that would vary with age. Now, when I saw that, it sort of caught my eye because it said that age would be the only consideration for the amount of income you're going to get. The way it reads is this: a basic income would vary with age, but there would be no other conditions, so everyone of the same age would get the same amount of money. Okay, everyone of the same age gets the same amount of money. Well, I'm 64 years old. The better part of my work history is over. And so what? Would I get less money because I'm at retirement age, or not capable of holding down a 40-hour week construction job? So what are you going to do? You're going to look at the other people, the people who don't work. So what does it matter? Because everybody's going to get it, and it makes absolutely no sense. It's automatic. Everybody's income would be paid either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and it would go automatically into their bank account. And it's non-withdrawable. Basic incomes would not be means tested, which is what I just talked about. They're not going to worry about how much you make, if your salary increases, if your salary decreases. It doesn't matter. You're going to continue to get the UBI. And so it says here that individual basic incomes would be paid on individual basis and not the basis of a couple or a household, as I explained earlier. As a right, everybody legally resident would receive basic income subject to minimum period of legal residency and continuing residency for most of the year. So what I'm getting from that, they probably you got to live there 6 months out of the year, or 8 months out of the year, something like that to qualify, but you know how that's easily bypassed. Anyway, basic income can be implemented nationally, regionally, or locally. Unconditional income that is sufficient to meet a person's basic needs is sometimes called full basic income. Where if it is less than that amount, it is sometimes called a partial income, and it's all part of the welfare system, and that's where it goes from there. This is crazy, people. And Chicago's passing this around. They're going to do this for 1,000 people, getting $500 a month, and it's coming out of the city funds. You know, they have no funding behind this or anything like that. So it's just a crazy kind of deal. But you know what they're worried about, people? And I just thought I'd let you know that they've been throwing this stuff around since the 1600s. This UBI stuff. it's never worked. It's sometimes the base of a socialism in some places, but it never works. It always fails, people. It always fails. It never, ever works. But here's what they're worried about. They're not worried so much about the automation of everything by doing this. That they want to have driverless trucks. Well, most of the truck drivers in America are middle-aged white men. I mean, there's a lot of minorities too, but the majority is middle-aged white men. What are these people going to do for a job if they take the drivers out of the trucks and let them run autonomously? And that's the whole thing with this. It takes in so many different aspects of life that it's just ridiculous, people. It's totally ridiculous to even think about doing this. But here's what they're worried about. There are some concerns that people will spend their basic income on alcohol and drugs. However, studies of the impact of the direct cash transfer programs provides evidence to the contrary. A 2014 World Bank review of 30 scientist studies concluded that concerns about the use of cash transfers for alcohol and tobacco consumption are unfounded. People, let me tell you something. In my lifetime, I've been in a lot of situations in a lot of places around this world, and I've been around people, selling food stamps and all this bad behavior. Anything that is done by these socialists and given to the people, there's going to be bad behavior, people. 500 ain't enough. They'll figure something out. They'll figure a way to weasel somebody else's money. But anyway, who cares about that? So why is everybody getting $500 a month? Tell me that. It makes absolutely no sense. That's sort of like why I can't understand homeless people. Good Lord. There's all kinds of shelters. There's all kinds of missions. But see, when you go to those places, you have to abide by the rules. You go to a man's mission in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, and you've got to abide by the rules. You got to be there. For the services, you got to be there for everything that's happening, and if you're not there, well, you get kicked out. So they have church like 4 times a day, and you got to be there. Unless you're lucky enough to get hired by somebody that morning to work by the day somewhere, they stand out on the corner and they hope somebody comes by and will hire them. And if you get hired for the day, they let you go. But if you're there at the mission just laying on your dang bunk, they expect you to be sitting in church 4 times a day. And see, people don't want to do that. There's a place for people that are homeless. There really is, people. I have to admit, we're having droves and droves and droves of immigrants coming over, and they're moving right into these communities. But if you'll go look in those homeless communities, people, it's people that's able to work. Don't tell me there ain't something they can do besides stand on a street corner with a sign begging for money. I have no sympathy on those people. I used to. I had a wife one time, and she always says, "Oh, you got to give those people money because they could be angels unaware." And I meant, what in the heck do you mean by that? She says, "They could be angels and God's testing you." And I said, wait a minute. We ain't going that far. We're not going to turn these people into angels. I've been low in my life. I've had low points. And I've been struggling to make ends meet all my life. And there's been times when I wondered if I was going to wind up on the street. But I didn't. Because I worked my ass off and I kept on working until I got it figured out. And thank God I got it figured out, and now I'm retired and I'm reaping the benefits. I have a YouTube channel and I've got great people like you watching me. Alright, we're going to finish up about that. Y'all got the big idea what that is. You know, it's just nothing but more welfare. And I guess that's alright. This is just a study, so, you know, I hope they have a lot more studies and this stuff don't go into effect nationwide. That would be devastating for our country. And of course we would have to have a Democrat socialist in the White House before this ever could be implemented. But so we're going to not worry about this right now. We're going to let these Democrats have all these little studies in their, you know, the towns that they have control over, and it's going to amount to nothing. But I thought I'd bring that to you. I thought, here we go again, giving away money that ain't theirs, you know, to give away. They're taking from the city. They're taking out from your taxes and paying these people. I'd be pissed off as all get out. I ain't lying to you. So we're going to stand up here and we're going to get it into a different topic, people. And it's not a topic I really want to talk about. Matter of fact, it's a topic I'd rather not talk about. I'm going to put a light on the subject here. But there we go. It's something that has to be talked about. So we're going to talk about it. It has to do with the children. I told you, every video is going to have something in here to do with our children. Well, I just want to tell you a little something that's going on here. And this is sickening, people. I'm telling you right now, it's sickening before I ever do this. I wished I didn't have to. It's got to be said and it's got to be heard. Children don't have a voice. I'll be that voice. We're talking about the North American Man-Boy Love Association. North American Man-Boy Love Association, called NAMBLA, is a pedophilia and pederasty, whatever that is, advocacy organization in the United States. It works to abolish age of consent laws and decriminalize adult sexual involvement with minors. Campaigns to release men who have been jailed for sexual conduct with minors that did not involve coercion. So if you're not coerced into this act, then it's legal. It's legal. My goodness. The group no longer holds regular national meetings. Thank God. They no longer hold national meetings to avoid police infiltration. Do you get that? The organization discourages the information of local chapters. An undercover detective discovered there were 1,100 people in an organization roles, and NAMBLA was the largest group in the international pro-pedophile activist organization groups. Now tell me something, people. We let these people work and do their foul, terrible things to these boys. We can thank God for this. Since Trump's become president, the organization has dwindled and only has a handful of people left, with many of the members joining online pedophilia networks such as DanPedo, BoyChat, and Annabelle E. My God. Director of Operations at the anti-pedophile organization, Perverted Justice, Xavier Von Erich, Director of Operations at the anti-pedophile organization, Perverted Justice, as 2005, a newspaper reports, NAMBLA was based in New York City and San Francisco. People, this stuff is sick. You know, there's people in opposition of putting these people down. There's people who support these man-boy lover pedophiles. Man, there's a lot of them. I was looking through there. But, you know, Bill Andretti, journalist, he joined the NAMBLA at the age of 51 and has edited the bulletin for the last 6 years. Allen Ginsberg was a defender of NAMBLA and also a member. David Thorstad was a founding member. Harry Hay was a prominent LGBT rights activist. He supported NAMBLA's inclusion of gay pride parades and publicly addressed their meetings in support of the organization. People, this stuff's sick. I want to tell you that I thank you tonight for bearing with me and listening to this terrible information, but I made a promise to the boys and girls and children that are lost, the ones that have no voice, the trafficked, the sexually abused, the sacrificed. I said it, people. The sacrificed children. We talked about that in a couple of videos ago. How many of them poor children are born alive and said that they were aborted? Prime sacrifice. Prime. One phone call, 24 hours later it's on a ping pong table somewhere. Okay, I've said enough. People, we got to fight these pedophiles. This man-boy love and child lover and all these symbols that they have. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I could have put a symbol up on my monitor right here, and I could have showed you what the symbol was for gay boy lover. But that wouldn't have been something I wanted to do. God knows, I'd hate for somebody to see that symbol up there and think that that's what I'm promoting, which is never going to happen on this channel, I promise you that. We fight for our children. But if you see a triangle circling inside itself, that's boy lover. Oh my God. Senator Jackson Lee was seen. Oh, I wished I had that clip, people. She was sitting there in Congress. That big old ring sticking up here about that damn big around. You could see it from across the room. Pedophile triangle inside a triangle. Continuous movement. One line, triangle inside a triangle. It was big and blue and made of, looked like precious stones. She was proud to put it out there that she's a boy lover. It don't make no difference if you're a man or a woman. These pedophiles have their desires and they have their choices of things that they like and that they want to do, and they don't mind advertising it. They don't mind one bit advertising their love for pedophilia, child abuse, child sacrifice. They look us straight in the face and they laugh at us. Well, people, one day it's going to come back home to haunt them. There will be justice to pay one day. And if it's not here on earth, it'll certainly be at the white throne judgment. This is Deplorable Bobby. This is the way I see it. Please subscribe to my channel. If you like what I'm saying and what I'm doing, give me a like. I love y'all people. I'll be here again. And this is the way I see it.